People in the car, we can do it.
Great. Thanks, JR.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was like a leading question, I think, towards the more put a bigger processor in the car, was it not? All right, so next up we have CloudMate, who I think we referred to a couple of times. And I don't know if you're going to show this. Tell me if it's part of your deck, but the left screen you have, because I was praising the slide that Joe Speed had put up for kind of illustrating the shift between onboard and offboard. Your left screen in your demo booth has a very similar kind of architecture and thinking. Is that part of your presentation or not?
That is the exact theme I'm talking about today, yeah.
Awesome.
About how CloudMate distribute computing between the car and the cloud.
Good. Very good. Well, over to you, Nick.
Great, thanks. Great to be here today. Thanks for sticking around and everyone looking very awake considering you've been sitting here for the last 4 hours. My name is Nick Black. I'm the Chief Product Officer at CloudMate, and I'm going to talk today about how CloudMate is working with car manufacturers to help them build better user experiences. To do that, we're leveraging the computational power not only of the car, but of the cloud. And we've made the car and the cloud work together in a very special way. But first, just so you don't have to take my word for it, Warren Buffett, who will probably be familiar to everybody, said recently that the single most important decision in evaluating a business is pricing power. Now, pricing power is the ability to set the prices of your products and continue having people buy them as you put the price up. Pricing power is something which a lot of car manufacturers struggle with today. Pricing power can largely be derived from two different things. The differentiation of your product, how different your product is from other products in the same category, and the lock-in you create. Lock-in is the same as stickiness. It's how much your product compels your consumer to stay within your ecosystem, to stay within your product family. CloudMate are focused on addressing both of these things. But we're not the only people in the industry who are addressing both of these things. Google's chief economist, a very clever guy called Hal Varian, wrote in a book a few years ago, businesses compete at their own peril if they don't recognize lock-in, protect themselves from its adverse effects, and use it to their advantage when possible. I think we can all say that Google have done a fantastic job of locking people into their ecosystem. And there were some interesting questions about how that applies to the automotive space. I think you can draw a very straight line between Google's chief economist talking about lock-in and what Google wants to do in the automotive space. So what CloudMate are here to do is to help car manufacturers capitalize on the biggest single opportunity that exists within the connected car. The biggest single opportunity that the kind of computational power we see in the cloud and the car is bringing. And that is to leverage these two forms of power to create a lifelong relationship with the customer via the cloud that is embodied in the car. Let me show you what we mean by that. So imagine you have a driver, Max, 18 years old. He's never bought a car. This is one of his first driving experiences. The first time he uses a car that has CloudMate software running in it on the infotainment unit, we start to learn about him. And up in the cloud, CloudMate software is building a profile of Max. We don't know much about him at this time, but we start to infer things. We're using machine learning processes to start to figure stuff out about Max. Everything we learn in the cloud, we use to impact the user experience in the car. Fast forward a few years, and Max had such a fantastic time driving that first car when he was learning, that he goes back to that same car manufacturer to choose the same cars when he wants to rent. So Max is 22 years old, he's living in an urban center, he doesn't own a car, he has no intention of owning a car. But when he's renting, he comes back to that same manufacturer and chooses that car. Because the experience Max gets is customized for him, it's personalized. We know the kind of places he goes to stop at, we know the time of day he likes to go there. We know the conditions under which he goes to somewhere like McDonald's. We've observed seat sensor data. We know he only goes to McDonald's when there's one person in the car. Because when there are two people with his girlfriend, he takes her somewhere nicer. Fast forward a few more years, 27, and Max decides to buy his first car. And the experience he has when he drives the car off the forecourt is of it being instantly personalized to him. So he gets that fantastic feeling like you get when you get a new iPhone, where you plug it in, all of your data syncs from iCloud, and suddenly you have something that's new but familiar at the same time. We're creating the exact same thing within automotive at CloudMate and with the OEMs who we work with. It's not only the car user experience that we impact, we also have analytics products that plug into existing CRMs and different analytics systems to be able to do things like predict the point at which Max is ready for an upgrade. So all of this intelligence that's being built up in the cloud is used by the car manufacturer to create compelling, differentiated, personalized experiences that live within their particular brand family. To do this requires the car and the cloud to work together in close coordination. So everything starts with the car. In the car, CloudMate software is gathering data from the CAN bus and from other car systems. The observations we make in the car are periodically synced into the cloud over a batch sync process. There is processing and downsampling done in the car to reduce the load on the network. Up in the cloud, the observations are aggregated together. We pull in other sources of data from different services, traffic, weather, social networks, calendars. The models that we learn, so the things we learn in the cloud are then synced back into the car, allowing the car to make predictions independently. So what we've created is a system that on the one hand allows us to leverage the vast computational capabilities of the cloud to run machine learning in a way that is modular and extensible, and also leverage the capability of the car. So the car can make its own predictions independently of a data connection. This data connection can be cut, and the car keeps on making predictions. It keeps on suggesting the next place to stop, and keeps on giving you safety recommendations. It keeps on adjusting the chassis the way you like it. We have 3 key product families that are in use today. Please come and chat with us. I think we've talked with quite a few of you. There's myself and Jean-Marc here from CloudMate today. We've got a demo table at the back. We'd love to talk you through what we're doing and see if we can see how we can work together. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. So if you could go back 2 slides just to, Sean was a switch, but this is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
This is essentially the same slide that Joe Spee had in a different design layout, but we're seeing this as, and I remember I said this is the privacy issue, this is the connectivity up and down. It's the same thing, just laid out in a different way. And I think to a large extent, you guys are agreeing on the answer to the car compute, car intelligence, where does it reside, where does it happen? It's this. And Edgar mentioned the answer, it kind of depends, but I think the answer is, it's variable. But this is kind of where we are today and where the architecture looks like, and it may swing back and forth depending on cost of connectivity and things.
Exactly.
But, you're in pretty good concurrence. And I like your lifecycle management approach to the customer, and that helps the OEMs maintain that deep relationship that right now is being taken over by phone manufacturing stuff, and a compelling story to how it can be owned as well by the car maker. So one chance for any questions out there? Great. All right, thank you. You guys are back at the table, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we have a drive mode up next. I got HK going to speak. Looking forward to hearing from you. And then I'll wrap it up with a few announcements and stuff after HK's done. And we got the